Welcome to Puerto Rico English News, the only English-speaking broadcast of local Puerto Rican news and entertainment. Please subscribe. Keep us alive.
Friday, December 10th, Yabucoa, Puerto Rico. The police are investigating the murder of a minor in a death that occurred on the R3 highway, kilometer 9.3, in the Limones neighborhood in Yabucoa. Reportedly, the body was shot. The child was under 15 years old and inside a vehicle.
Friday, December 10th, Guayama, Puerto Rico. The authorities arrested one of the 10 most wanted in Puerto Rico. Kelvin Ayala de Jesus was served an arrest warrant for charges related to a murder in Cayey, Puerto Rico on March 27 of this year. He is accused of committing murder with two others, Eduardo R. Pedroza Alvarez, 22, and Eduardo E. Pedroza Rodriguez. The suspects allegedly shot the victim, Norman Opagan Collazo, 25, in the neck on March 27, 2021 in the Luis Munoz Morales residential complex in Guayama, Puerto Rico. Judge Sonia Nieves set bail at $3 million.
Sunday, December 12th, Cuamo, Puerto Rico. The murders of 16 and 20-year-old brothers occurred in Cuamo. The double murder was reported at 8:25 p.m. on Sunday. The incident reportedly occurred in the presence of their mother. The brothers' names have not been released. So far this year there have been 594 murders in Puerto Rico. This figure exceeds the murder per capita statistics for all major cities in the United States mainland.
This past weekend, two men were shot and killed early Sunday, while they were in a business in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. The double murder occurred during an argument. According to police, a man was shot to death in the early hours of Saturday, December 11th in events that occurred on Highway 181, in the Espino neighborhood of San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico. Police are investigating the circumstances in which a 53-year-old man was murdered on Saturday night, December 11th, in the Tío Mito sector of the Guaraguao neighborhood, in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. Multiple bullet casings of different calibers were at the site. The victim had a criminal record for controlled substances, aggravated robbery and the weapons law. A man was shot to death in the early hours of Saturday, December 11th in events that occurred on Highway 181, in the Espino neighborhood of San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico, police reported. Police also found the shot body of a man on a road in Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico Friday, December 10th. The police identified the victim as Luis Manuel Gonzalez Alvarado, 24 years old. At the moment, the police do not have a motive for the murder.
Thursday, December 9th, Las Marias, Puerto Rico. A man died Thursday, at the hands of his stepfather who was defending his wife. Reportedly, the mother was threatened by her son with a pistol that he took from her. The event occurred at the Mashabuca farm in the municipality of Las Marias. Ulysses Glenn Richards allegedly took the firearm from his mother and received a fatal shotgun wound to the groin after pointing the gun at his stepfather Manuel Lopez Santa Cruz.
Saturday, December 11th, Culebra Island. A pursuit that began on Zony Beach, in Culebra, ended with agents arresting a man in possession of a package with 26 kilos of cocaine, police reported. When an agent was going to investigate a sighting of several people on a jet ski, a chase began that ended with the arrest of a man who had a drug bundle.
Monday, December 13th, San Juan, Puerto Rico. A jury of 5 men and 7 women will make up the jury that will evaluate the evidence that the prosecution will present in the trial in the federal court of San Juan that began this Monday against the manager and producer of urban music, Rafi Pina Nieves. The producer and manager of urban music artists faces 2 counts of illegal possession of firearms at the federal level. April 1, 2020, Rafi Pina's home was raided and firearms were confiscated. August 13, 2020, a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging Rafael Pina Nieves, a convicted felon and person prohibited from possessing or carrying firearms, with firearms violations. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation, were in charge of the case. Rafael Pina Nieves, who professionally goes by Rafi Pina, is most known as the label owner of Pina Records and the manager to artists like Daddy Yankee and Natty Natasha. A $1 million bond was set and his passport was ordered to be removed. Pina's prior felony conviction is from when he pleaded guilty to mortgage fraud in 2016 and was sentenced to 2 years probation and a $150,000 fine. This was part of his court proceedings from a 2012 case where the FBI indicted him and 3 others for conspiracy to commit bank fraud and money laundering. The feds apparently had an eye on Pina in April when 2 properties reportedly owned by him in the neighborhood of Caguas Real were raided by the FBI. Pina has asserted that he was not occupying the homes and not guilty of the charges.
On December 8, federal judge Francisco Basaza sentenced Jadiel Torres Rijas to 365 months or 30 years and 5 months in prison for his participation in a robbery that resulted in the murder of Armando Rosado Molina, a businessman who owns various gas stations and other commercial properties. Between March 30 and 31, 2019, Torres Rijas and his co-defendants planned to commit a robbery at Rosado Molina's residence in San Lorenzo. During the hours of the night between March 31 and April 1, 2019, Torres Rijas and his accomplices established surveillance near Rosado Molina's residence. For this, they were armed with a baseball bat, a weapon that had the appearance of a rifle, and pepper spray. Torres Rijas and the co-defendants later entered the residence and encountered Rosado Molina, who attempted to defend himself with a firearm that he legally possessed. Given this, during a struggle with one of the thieves, Rosado Molina lost control of the firearm. Subsequently, he was beaten with a baseball bat, then shot and killed. Torres Rijas and his co-defendants, all of whom have already pleaded guilty and are awaiting sentencing, took more than $20,000 from the victim's residence and 2 motor vehicles.
Friday, December 10, the warning established last week by the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, about the beginning of a series of arrests for crimes of public corruption turned out to be as true as it was surprising and made real yesterday with the arrest of the mayor of Guaynabo, Ángel Pérez Otero, and Radamés Benítez Cardona, executive assistant to the mayor of Trujillo Alto. Both officials were arrested for accepting and receiving illegal commissions, kickbacks, in a scheme virtually identical to that confessed by the former mayor of Catano, Felix Delgado Montalvo. That is, Pérez Otero and Benítez Cardona allegedly used their power to influence the awarding of contracts in favor of the companies of an individual, who in turn paid them bribes and illegal commissions in secret, or in the case of the executive assistant, through an intermediary. Allegedly, Pérez Otero received bribery payments of $5,000 each month, an instance illustrated in the indictment with the above photo of 2 screenshots that show him receiving a white envelope.
Wednesday, December 8, Geoffrey Jomar Perez, one of those accused of the kidnapping of 3 people at the El Hipopótamo restaurant, in Rio Piedras, and which culminated in the murder of the minor Jesus Francisco Perez, declared himself not guilty on Wednesday afternoon. Of the 3 charges against him for the crimes that occurred at the end of October this year, Geoffrey Jomar Perez and his co-defendants Luis Alet Maldonado and Luis Oscar Caban Nieves, are accused of the kidnapping at the El Hipopótamo restaurant on October 31 that resulted in the death of the minor Jesus Francisco Perez. The trio are accused of a kidnapping for ransom attempt. According to the only official statement of the events so far, provided by an FBI agent, while the 31-year-old man was talking on the cell phone inside the white van in which the 3 hostages were, he heard a shot, which directly or indirectly caused fatal injuries to the minor.
Monday, December 13, San Juan, Puerto Rico. The trial against the former president of the Puerto Rico Telecommunications Bureau Sandra Torres Lopez was scheduled for February 23 of next year. The defense has asked that the Court of Appeals to determine whether documents of the special prosecutor should be delivered to the defense. The prosecutor's office has refused to provide the documents on the grounds that they are confidential and irrelevant to the case. The former president of the Telecommunications Regulatory Board will have to go to trial for violations of the government ethics law after a fundraising event for the campaign of the then-Governor Ricardo Rossello.
Thursday, December 9, although he assured that all the public that attended the 2 concerts presented by the urban singer Bad Bunny were vaccinated, the Secretary of Health, Carlos Mellado Lopez, did not hide his concern about the huge number of people who attended the event, many of them without masks and without keeping distance. According to Puerto Rico COVID-19 restrictions, as of September 17, both private and public organized events and activities will require evidence of vaccination to have 100% capacity. Those choosing to accept a negative COVID test taken within the last 72 hours in lieu of proof of vaccination can only operate at 50% capacity. Venues include theaters, coliseums, event centers, and any other place promoting mass gatherings, regardless if inside or outside. Mask usage is mandatory in all closed places and open places with 50 people or more.
Friday, December 10th, Puerto Ricans Nelson Gonzalez and Richard Padilla were among the survivors of the tornado that destroyed homes in Kentucky. More than 60 people died in that area due to several cyclones. "I thought it was the end," Gonzalez, a native of Guayama, Puerto Rico, told journalists. Several of his colleagues indicated that Gonzalez helped them out of the rubble last Friday night and have described him as a hero.
At least 74 people in Kentucky have died after a weekend tornado outbreak across 8 states flattened homes and businesses in the Midwest and South. The governor said the numbers will move because we have several of our towns in rubble. 109 residents remain unaccounted for. At least 14 people have been killed in 4 other states, 6 in Illinois, 4 in Tennessee and 2 each in Arkansas and Missouri, officials have said.
Monday, December 13th, Israel, India's Harnas Sandhu, was crowned Miss Universe 2021. The Puerto Rican Michelle Colon fought for the 6th crown for Puerto Rico, from Israel, and reached the group of 10 semi-finalists.
With weekly orientation talks, regular gatherings and information-sharing groups, the new face of crypto enthusiasts gathered in Puerto Rico. The island is on its way to creating its own strain of experts, investors and artists from the digital world. Uber drivers, members of the creative and entrepreneurial industries, appear as the new faces of the growing community of enthusiasts of blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance in Puerto Rico. Last week the Puerto Rico Blockchain Week culminated in several education events on cryptocurrencies and metaverse. The metaverse is a hypothesized iteration of the Internet, supporting online 3D virtual environments. Using virtual and augmented reality headsets, the metaverses, in some limited form, have already been implemented in video games such as Second Life.
Here's your weather for Carolina, Puerto Rico and the Northern Island. Tuesday, December 14th, high of 84, low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 41% chance of showers. Wednesday, high of 82 and low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 45% chance of rain showers. Thursday, high of 84, low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 42% chance of rain. Friday, high of 84, low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 43% chance of showers. Saturday, high of 82, low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a 38% chance of rain showers. And Sunday, high of 84, low of 73 degrees Fahrenheit with a 24% chance of rain showers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Help us survive.